Hello, good evening. Welcome to Wednesday's Bedtime Stretches. Today we are going to use a few props, a yoga mat, and if you don't have a yoga mat, a towel or a blanket will do just fine on the ground, a hard-backed chair, and today we are going to use the foam roller. If you do not have a foam roller, please just let me know in the chat so I can give you modifications as we go through class. And without further ado, let's get started. Sitting on our chairs. There we go. Okay, let me move this back just a little bit. Great, sitting up nice and tall. And we're going to start with some spinal work. So creating a nice big dome and then a nice big arch and dome and arch. Really feeling the area in between the shoulder blades expand and contract. And now let's reach one arm down. I like to hold on to the leg of a chair and one arm over. Getting a little bit into the side stretch. Those top fingers are going to trace all the way around. So now your chest is touching your thighs and roll up the spine. Let's do that on the other side, reaching that arm all the way over, coming into a nice big side stretch, leading with those fingertips. Circle it all the way around and roll up. Arm over, circle it around, roll up, and arm up and over, circle it around, roll it up. And then just give those shoulders a few rolls back, seeing how that feels, if it feels good, if it's like a little clicky and crunchy. Couple more shoulder rolls, and then bringing it into the whole arm, swimming those arms back. And then bringing that into a little twist. I'm going to hold on to the back of my chair and my opposite knee, and then just look over my back shoulder. Coming back to center, switching sides, arm crosses over, other arm at back of chair, looking over that elbow. Coming back to center, one more time each side, cross, arm on back of chair, looking over the elbow. Coming back to center, and last time, crossing that hand over, looking over that back elbow. Good. Let's get into the neck a little bit, circling that head. We'll do 3 times in one direction. And 3 times in the opposite direction. And then when you're ready, other way. And again, on this as well, seeing where it feels good and stretchy. Seeing where it feels clicky and crunchy. Do the clicks and crunches hurt, or are they just noise? Good. Let's go into our feet. Warming up the hands first. And bringing that right into the foot. And then kneading the thumbs into all of those little muscles on the bottom of the foot. seeing what feels good, what might have like a little like, woo, that hurts. But just getting into the bottom of that foot. And I know I say this every week, but I don't spend enough time taking care of my feet, and the feet do so much for us. And then let's bring the fingers in between the toes. So we're kind of sticking our fingers into the toes and spreading them nice and wide, like a big wide duck foot, like you have webbing. Find a little movement there, maybe some forward and back action, maybe some circles. And when you're ready, let that go, giving each toe a little scissor. So taking one toe and then the toe beside and stretch it one way like you're doing the splits, and stretch it the other way like they're doing the splits. And do that all the way down the foot. Good. That foot comes down, and let's go to the other side, starting with warming it up. And then kneading into the bottom of the foot. And in this moment, this is where you can start connecting to the good feelings this is bringing up. Finding some exhales. Start relaxing, winding down your Wednesday. And now flossing those fingers in between the toes, creating that big, wide duck foot. Find a little wiggle or circle. And really, today, let's really take note of what feels good. I know that sometimes stretches are like a little painful, but let's connect to what actually feels really lovely or pleasurable in the body. And then from there, give the toes a little scissor. Good. Bring that leg down. Let's go into our glute stretch. So our leg comes up and over. We flex that foot. We sit up nice and tall and hinge forward a little bit or a lot of it, whatever you've got today. Feeling the back of the hip, that glute rotator start to open up. Breathing deeply here. Feeling this back hip glute area slowly start opening up. And on the exhale, come on out of that. Release that leg down. Give it a little tap out. And let's go to the other side. Sitting up nice and tall, flexing that top foot and hinging it forward. And again, while we're in this stretch, it's pretty passive. We're not pushing it or really muscling through it. This is the first stretch of the class. Take it easy. And we will slowly start building and going deeper as the class progresses. But this is a great time to start connecting to the breathing. Start connecting to points in the body. I want to tell my shoulders that they can relax. I feel them creeping up for some reason. Connecting to your exhales. Feeling that hip slowly start to open up. And just kind of scanning the body through the mind's eye and like what feels good right now. Come on out of that and give that A little shake out. Great. Let's come to stand. I think we're good. Oh, not quite. 1 second. All right. And from here, let's go right into our calf stretch. Woo! Another moment to keep connecting to the breath. Feel that heel at the back root down and feel the energy leave the top of the head. So we're creating like a two-way pull, some oppositional pull in the body. Check in with your shoulders. Check in with your jaw. See if you can relax the front of your ankle. Sometimes I catch myself gripping that back leg, but see if you can relax and lengthen into it. A few more breaths here, feeling that calf slowly creak open. One more big inhale in. And on the exhale, come on out of that. And just take a moment to stand. We usually don't do this after calf stretches, but just feel the difference between the two legs now. The leg that we just stretched the calf on feels like longer and more grounded in my body. And now we're going to even it out, bringing the other leg back. Take this opportunity to see if one side feels different than the other. It probably does because you are asymmetrical. We are all asymmetrical. And again, on this side, feel that heel go down through the floor and then feel the top of that head go on that upward diagonal, creating that nice oppositional pull through the body. Check in with your jaw. See if the jaw is relaxed. And if it's not, maybe give it a little wiggle and relax it. Check in with the shoulders. We'll be here for a couple more breaths. See if the front of that back ankle can relax. And release that. Bring it back, stand up nice and tall, and just feel how those lower legs feel now that we've stretched the calf and we've worked the feet. Let's bring our chairs to the side. And let's come to our foam roller. My favorite. Let me adjust this real quick. Now that we'll be doing some work on the mat. All right. Let's start by bringing the roller to right under our shoulder blades. For women, it's kind of where like that bikini top line is, or like the bottom of like a sports top. I like to cradle my head in my hands. I'll do this on a diagonal. Cradle my head in my hands and kind of puff up my upper back. So I'm working that roller in between those shoulder blades. And this can be as slow or as fast as you need. Taking moments to pause, put the hips down, and maybe just like flare that chest open and over the roller. And coming back to it. Getting into that upper back. This should hopefully feel really good. Start connecting these rolling actions with your breath. And when you're ready, come out of that. Just give those shoulders, neck a little roll out. Now to one of my ultimate favorites. We'll probably have the option to end class like this as well. So it will come back if you enjoy this. We're going to lay our whole spine on the roller. So my sacrum is at the very base. I come all the way back. My forearms come together and I just open them up, feeling the pecs slowly start to release. If you're on a short foam roller, you can sometimes get a similar effect by keeping the roller longwise and just coming over. It's not quite as comfortable for the neck, but you still get that open chest sensation. And we'll be here. You can even close your eyes, just feeling those pecs open up. And I know that we could stay here in this gentle stretch for the next half hour. I would love to do that, but we have other things to do. So let's take one more big inhale in. And on the exhale, bring those arms down by the hips. Come on up. Bring that roller horizontal again. And let's bring the back of the hips onto the roller so that the legs are naturally kind of just up there. You'll feel it when it's in the right place. It'll be really easy for those legs just to hang out up here. Bring one knee into the chest, reach one leg up to the sky, keeping that leg as long as possible, so no bending the knee. And we reach that heel down. And if you don't feel a stretch in the front of the hip, bring this top knee closer to your chest. Or think of tucking the tail under. And we're going to let the weight of that leg slowly open up the front of that hip. Breathing here. A couple more breaths. On your next exhale, bend that bottom leg and bring it on up. Reach the other leg all the way up and squeeze that down to the ground, feeling the front of that hip open up. And it's okay if one side feels different than the other. I know for a fact that my hips are, the sockets of my hips are slightly different on each side. So different hip stretches feel sometimes significantly different one side to the other. And that is okay. And on this side, while we're here, letting gravity kind of do its work, bringing that leg closer to the ground, opening up the front of that hip more. You can close your eyes. You can feel that jaw relax. Maybe you feel those shoulders and the ribs kind of relax. Feeling that front of the hip melt open. Take a nice big inhale in. And on the exhale, bend that bottom knee and bring it into the chest. You can remove that roller, bringing the flat back on the ground. Now let's do a couple. No, we won't do that quite yet. Put the roller to the side. Let's go right into our hamstring stretch now. So bring one knee up. Bring that leg upright, holding either behind the hamstring or behind the calf, maybe not behind the knee. Take a big inhale in, and on the exhale, resist that leg into your hands with a lot of force. And on your next exhale, release and let that leg fall a little closer to the body. 2 more times. Exhale, resist, really pressing that leg into the hands and the hands into the legs. And exhale, release. Bring that leg a little closer to you. 1 more time. Resist. 2, 3, and release, bringing that leg a little closer to you. And let's hold it there at that maximum. Breathe it deeply. And on your next exhale, let that rebound and float down to the ground. Take a second to feel the difference between the 2 sides of the body now. Other side. Unfolding that leg, holding behind the hamstring or calf. Take an inhale in. And on the exhale, we resist for 1, 2, 3. Inhale. And on the exhale, we release and we bring that leg a little closer to us. And we exhale and resist for 1, 2, 3. Inhale. And on the exhale, release, bring that leg a little closer to you. 1 more time. And exhale to resist. And release, bring that leg a little closer to you. Hold that there. Hold that there, feeling that maximum. You might even feel that leg shaking a little bit. That's a-okay. And let it release down to the ground. Give those legs a shake out. All right. Let's go into the inner thighs. So coming nice and wide, either sitting up nice and tall, bringing those hands in front of us, and bring it forward. Feeling those inner thighs open up. If you want a little extra in the legs, you can always flex those toes up to the ceiling. And while you're here as well, feel that jaw release. Feel those shoulders relax. Tap into breathing nice and deeply, feeling those lungs fill and expand, and then on the exhale, coming together. We'll be here for about 3 to 5 more breaths. And on your next exhale, walk those hands up and slowly bring those legs back in. Shake them out. Good. Let's do a little bit of hip mobilizing. And then we'll do some stretches for the front of the hip, and then we'll roll our legs. And then we'll probably do a little tiny bit of twisting, and then we'll be done. So let's have this front leg bent and in front of us, and our back leg is bent, and our back foot is flexed. And from here, we're just going to feel the femur, which is your thigh bone, rolling in the hip socket. So I'm rolling it forward and then rolling it back. So what's happening here, I'll try and demonstrate with my hands. If this is my hip socket, this little C shape, and this is my femur, my thigh bone, I am rotating it like so. If that image helps at all. And then I let that kind of spiral go into the back and into the shoulders a little bit to connect it to what feels good. A little extra spiral feels good right now, or in my back at least. Hopefully in your backs too. Good. And let's switch sides, finding that mobility on our other side. So front leg is bent, our back leg is bent, and our back foot is flexed. And on this side as well, we're going to find that thigh bone rotating in the hip socket. And expect this side to feel different. This feels vastly different than the other side, and that's just how my hips are structured. So it's a-okay if they feel different. Or maybe you favor one side over the other, or maybe you had an injury on one side, therefore it feels very different than the first side we just did. There's a ton of different factors because you're living human beings. Do that a couple more times. Good. Bring that leg around. Let's go to our knees. Bring a foot in front. Find a nice tail tuck. And the more you tuck your tail, the more into the front of the hip you will get. And inch it forward. If you want to get into the psoas a little bit more, bring that arm up and over to a side stretch. And we'll be here for a moment. Breathing deeply. Feeling the front of that hip almost like creak open. This one's always a little intense for me. And then let's come all the way forward, bringing that knee to the ground, toes up, and then reaching back to get a little bit more into the belly of the thigh. And if you're super duper flexible, you can even get your heel on your bottom. It's not happening for me tonight. Feeling the front of that thigh open up really nicely. Release that. Transfer the weight to the back. Wiggle those front toes forward. Flexing that front foot. Feeling what we call in yoga, I believe they call this a half split. Really flexing those toes, feeling the toe and the knee face the side now. So we're adding a little rotation, which will give you a little zing up that hamstring. And here as well, are you breathing? Is your jaw relaxed? Check in with those shoulders. And let's see if we can lower the nose down to the shin bone. And then coming back to a runner's lunge, we're just going to put two hands on the ground, step that leg back into a downward facing dog. Take a moment here to feel the two heels go down to the ground, feeling a nice long stretch in the back of the legs, the calves, and then equally feel the spine long. The shoulders are away from the ears. And then let's bring two knees down. Come on up. And let's go to the other side. Finding a nice big tuck in that tail. Bring it forward just a little bit. And if you want a little extra, bring that arm up and over. Really feeling the front of that hip. It feels creaky to me. It's a little intense, but really feeling that hip start opening up. You might even feel a nice little stretch happening in these side ribs. Let's be here for about 3 more breaths. And then adjust yourself so you can grab onto those back toes, getting more into the belly of that thigh. Playing with what's feeling good right now. Taking a nice big inhale in, and a nice big exhale out. Checking in with those shoulders, maybe giving the jaw a wiggle. And release that back leg. Transfer the weight to the back shin, flex those front toes up, and bring those toes and the knee out to the side. So we're working with that little bit of rotation. And on this side as well, see if you can get that nose towards your knee or shin bone. It might require some very deep breathing and maybe light cursing, however that feels for you tonight. One more big inhale in. On the exhale, come to that long runner's lunge. Step that foot back into a nice big downward facing dog. Take a moment here. And then let's walk the feet to the hands to the feet, and hold on to opposite elbows and just feel the weight of the arms. The weight of the arms will help that spine, all those vertebrae, hang nice and long. And let's bend those knees. Come sit down on the mat. All right. Now for kind of the intense moment, we're going to roll out our legs. We've done this before, and you've been warned. It is intense. Do this at your own pace. So we have a band called the iliotibial band, which literally goes from the tibia, which is right here, the little knobby bone at the side of the knee, all the way up to the hip bone, which is your ilium. So there's a long line of tendon, kind of fascia along the side of the leg. So we're going to roll this area. We're also going to roll the front part of it and the back part of it. So kind of where it meets the hamstring and kind of where it meets the thigh as well, or the quadricep. You know what I'm talking about. And get ready. And this is on your own time, at your own pace. If you need to pause to just let the muscle melt kind of around that roller in one area, do so. If you need to come out of it and take a quick break and go back in, do so. This is intense. Definitely a moment where you want to check in with how you're breathing. And also just remind yourself that you're the one dictating the pressure that is being put on this area. And you're also the one that can come into it or come out of it whenever your body tells you so. So you don't have to do exactly what I am doing because it might not be serving you properly. But we'll be here for just a moment longer. And let's roll onto the two thighs now. And just for one moment, getting into the fronts of the legs. This one is generally not super bad. You can also try with turning the legs in, so trying to get those knees to face each other. Or you can also try turning out, getting those knees to face the side. And now let's go to the other side. Getting into the side leg, that IT band area. And remembering to get a little bit in the front of the band where it meets the quad and a little bit into the back of the band where it meets the hamstring. Going nice and slow at your own pace. If you need a moment to pause and just feel that area of the leg relax into the roller, if that's even possible, you can do so or attempt to relax. Sorry for not talking you through this. I'm concentrating on my own legs right now, but tapping into your breath. Check in with your shoulders and your jaw. Are you squeezing or clenching your glutes? And if you are you able to release them and relax them? And come on out of that. Whew. Give those legs a little rub. Good stuff. All right. Let's do one more little stretch for our rotators, and then we'll go into our end of class relaxation. So let's come onto the back. One leg comes up and over with the foot flexed. holding behind that hamstring and bringing that knee closer. If this is not enough, you can always head into pigeon pose if that is preferable. And we'll be here for just a couple moments. And this one's nice because our back is on the ground, so we can really just use those arms to bring that hamstring closer to us, which will stretch out that rotator glute area. Oh, and we can breathe and we can feel those shoulders down and we can feel that jaw unhinge, unclench. And on your next exhale, let that foot lower down to the ground and switch sides. Coming to that hamstring, flexing that foot. And on this side, opening up that rotator glute area. And once you've kind of found that sweet spot, take note of what's feeling good right now. Feel the jaw release, the shoulders, feeling the breath nice and deep. And on your next exhale, let those legs come down to the ground. Maybe kind of just shift the knees side to side. Now for this like little relaxation we like to do at the end of class, there's two options. If you have a long foam roller, if you have a long foam roller, we're going to lay on it lengthwise and go back into that pec opener. And if you have the chair, you're going to place your calves on the chair. So a little elevated relaxation. And you can fidget and adjust until you feel good. So if you need to press against those thighs to feel the back nice and long, you can do that. If you need to just place the hands under the head and kind of create some extra space in that upper back, you can do that as well. If you're on the foam roller, let's see if we can bring our feet as wide as the mat and knock the knees together. Bring those forearms together. And then let them open wide and just fall open. If you're on the chair, feeling the backs of the arms on the ground, the palms are facing the ceiling. And now all of us taking note of what is supporting our head. Feeling the eyes go down towards the ground. Feeling the jaw release. Feeling the shoulders spill open and down towards the floor. The parts of the arm that are touching the ground, feel those supported by the floor. Take note of what's supporting the shoulders and upper back and the sacrum. If you're working with the chair, feel the calves supported. And if you're on the roller, feel the feet in the ground and the knees touching. Take a big breath in and exhale out. Big breath in. And on this exhale, feel that jaw go slack. 2 more big breaths, just like that. Feeling the jaw release, the shoulders release, whatever you need to relax. And you can stay here for as long as you need. Thank you for joining class. Have a good night.